Hi, thanks for joining me. My name is Alicia Schwartz, and I'm here with a few other members of First Lutheran to share with you a little bit more about our resource and ministry teams at First Lutheran. So first, let's talk about what is a team. What's the difference between a resource and a ministry team? Why do we need teams at all when we have a church staff? In order to answer the question, we need to go back a year and talk about the work the Transition Task Force did for First Lutheran. Remember that interim time that has been the last 2 years has been spent very intentionally. We've been working to discern what has been and what will be moving forward. And we've come up with a Renaissance mindset, if you will, in transitioning this church into a much different organizational format. This diagram is designed to help you understand a little bit about the new teams and members within the church that are creating our new First Lutheran format. First, we have our ministry teams. And on top of that, we have our resource teams and leadership council. We'll dig into the meat of all of these teams, what they do, and how you can get involved. So let me take you back a little bit. During the time of the Transition Task Force, which started around the fall of 2019 and went through the summer of 2020, a lot of time was spent trying to figure out who the church was and who we will be moving forward. We've identified our new church identity as a large-sized church. What does that mean? The church will be focused around high-quality worship, a top-notch music program, and a pastor who will be dedicating their time providing sacraments, worship, baptism, weddings, funerals, First Communion, and being a ministry resource to the teams. We also are planning to set into place a new staff format. We'll have a director for ministry, children, youth, and family, a director of business, and the director for the child care. The lay leaders, that's the members of the church, will really be driving all the initiatives and the momentum for all of our projects. We'll be providing a leadership. We'll be making this church successful and really doing the work of the church. The director we have on board right now is Shelley McNitt. Many of you know her in so many great capacities. Let's dig into a little bit into what Shelley's role is now as the Director of Ministry. In partnership with the Ministry and Resource Commissions, she serves the church by assisting in coaching, recruiting, organizing, training, and engaging people into the life of First Lutheran in ways that fit their spiritual goals. She's responsible for managing and developing the functionality of all these ministry teams and resource teams and helping to strengthen our church and the members within. We've heard a little about where we're going. Let's spend some time learning about the teams and what it means to be a ministry team member or a resource team member. Each team has a facilitator who's there to act as a leader of the group, scheduling meetings, coordinating projects, and connecting with action teams. Today we have Steve Williamson and Jennifer Hagman, who are also a part of the Transition Task Force. They're going to share with you some more information about the teams, their facilitators, and dig more into what each of the team represents within the church and how you as a fellow member of the congregation can get plugged in.
I'm Steve Williamson, one of the Transition Task Force members here at First Lutheran Church. And today, I'm going to be discussing the ministry teams. The ministry teams were developed to provide organization and leadership for the numerous aspects of our church life. They include congregational care, discipleship, spiritual growth, and worship. Each of these is comprised of lay leaders, volunteers, as well as paid staff. These teams will work in cooperation with one another and help to guide our faithful living as we continue to grow as First Lutheran Church. These teams have goals to be welcoming to all and to provide much needed services and opportunities to our members, guests, and community. The ministry teams branch out into action teams. These action teams will have an even more specific focus, but their work will be related to the overall goal of their ministry team. Each of the ministry teams will have at least one facilitator that will help to guide the work of the team, assist in organizing meetings, and act as a liaison for those wishing to participate in any of the action teams. Each of the following slides will include the contact information of each facilitator, should you wish to get involved, have an idea, or have a specific need for assistance. Congregational care is the first team I will highlight. This team's mission is to provide care, services, and fellowship opportunities to our congregation for both members and non-members. This team will enrich the church through homebound support, faith-based fellowship opportunities, and support for anyone who may need extra assistance. Some examples of reasons to contact this team are listed at the bottom of this slide. If you are in need of any additional services, please reach out to Eileen Van Dyke, who is the facilitator of the Congregational Care team. Next is our discipleship team, whose focus is providing opportunities through outreach and missions. This team will help to coordinate and support outreach programs by organizing volunteers, seeking and developing new programs and events, arranging and helping to obtain funding for faith-based events, and facilitating the coordination within First Lutheran Women Action Teams. Contact Chris Nelson or Bev Crum if you have ideas, would like to get involved, or would like more information about what this team can offer. Spiritual Growth is our next team, whose facilitator is April Hamdorf. This team's charge is to nurture faith formation and development for Christians of all ages. The work of this team will focus on the creation and maintenance of Christian learning from the beginning of life to the end. This team will develop, implement, and provide opportunities through children's programs, Sunday school and adventures curriculum, confirmation experiences, as well as training for volunteers, teachers, and mentors. They will also continue to grow and support our post-confirmation members to assist in their transition to more independent adult faith. Adult growth will also be a priority. These teams will seek out new opportunities for adults to be involved in their own faith development through Bible studies, new member orientation, and mentorships. Our final ministry team is the worship team. Their goal is to provide a welcoming, Christ-centered worship experience along with hospitality. This will focus on our worship time as a church family. They will brainstorm and implement ideas to make our worship time warm, welcoming, and comfortable to all attendees, both members and guests alike. This will include providing pre- and post-worship fellowship opportunities, as well as providing training and resources for the hospitality teams that will assist during services. They will also promote our strong music programs and help to coordinate music for fellowship. If you have musical talents, would like to share a friendly smile, love to meet new people, or have a desire to get involved with any aspect of worship, please reach out to Jill Dornbush, who is the facilitator of this team.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Hagman, and I was a member of the Transition Task Force. I will now be discussing the resource teams we have at First Lutheran Church. The resource teams support the business aspects of our church. They include communications and IT, human resources, property, and financial resources. Each of these teams will also be comprised of lay leaders, volunteers, and paid staff. These teams will work in collaboration to support the business aspects of First Lutheran Church. Each of the resource teams will have a facilitator, and if you are interested in learning more about one of the resource teams, the contact information for the facilitator is included on each slide. The first resource team I will highlight is the Communication and IT team. The facilitator for this team is Pam Swanson. This team will be providing technological support during worship services, maintaining the church's website, and social media content. They are also providing the recording and streaming of our worship services. If you have IT or social media skills, please contact Pam. This team is welcoming and looking to add additional members as soon as possible. The next resource team is the financial resource team with Dave Thompson as the facilitator. This team oversees and provides the financial reporting and budgeting documents for First Lutheran Church and also provides financial oversight and guidance to our wonderful First Lutheran Child Care Center. If you have any questions about giving, benevolence, or even have a question about the church's finances, this team would be happy to answer any of your questions. Human Resources is the next team, and Alicia Schwartz is the facilitator. This team will be overseeing all job descriptions to keep them updated, any questions from staff on benefits, facilitating any job openings and posting for those open positions, and oversee staff appreciation throughout the year. You could contact this team if you know of someone you would like to recommend for a job opening, or if you have a background in HR and would like to join this team, please contact Alicia. We are actively searching for a Director of Children, Youth, and Family. The final resource team is the property team. The facilitator for this team is Bob Olson. The property team oversees all the building and outside property maintenance for First Lutheran Church. They do an amazing job keeping FLC looking beautiful inside and out. Any requests for maintenance for the church would go through this team. If you love gardening or have skills to share with the property team, they would love to have you contact them to learn more about what help is needed to keep FLC looking so great all year long.
Thanks to Jennifer and Steve. I really appreciate your perspective on each of the teams, who they are, and how members may get engaged. So this is your call. This is where we ask you to get involved. We have a lot of openings in all of these teams, and I know that someone out there has a background that is specific to a team where you could really use your skills and talents and get involved. There are teams waiting to hear from you. So remember, each team has a facilitator right now. They also have a liaison, which is the council representative. So we're just looking for 3 or 4 more other congregational members to get engaged. You can sign up for a 1, 2, or 3-year commitment. Most of the teams are meeting monthly, sometimes bi-weekly, depending on if they're working on a project, and action teams are placed to work on smaller projects. So definitely something for everyone. You can call Shelly, the office, the church office, or any of the facilitators if you know them, and they can get you plugged in. I'm also really excited to let you know a little bit about what's been going on at First Lutheran. It's really hard to know what's happening behind the scenes when we can't get together face to face. So really quickly, just wanted to give you a little bit of an overview about things that are going on right now. First Lutheran has created a campus task force. They're working to define the relationship between church and child care and really create some more coalitions and collaborations. We also have a Return to Worship task force that's working to form a plan for in-person worship. We're super excited for that to get done. We've also had in the works already a task force for COVID, just understanding what the impacts are, how we can have small groups, how we can keep the church clean and the people that are in there safe and healthy. We're also working to get our 9th graders confirmed. We have an entire group of kids that weren't able to get confirmed last spring, and we're working to make a plan for them. And lastly, our graduating seniors, we're getting quilt blessings and preparing for distribution for those too.
At this time, I would like to share the organizational chart for First Lutheran Church. There are 2 sections to support all the wonderful work that FLC provides to our congregation and to our community, the ministry section and the business section. I will highlight each section on the next 2 slides. The ministry section will work together with the ministry teams. You will see each ministry team is highlighted with a color to show how they all work together to support the mission and vision of First Lutheran Church. The pastor, director of ministry, and the director of children, youth, and family will all work together with the worship, congregational care, discipleship, and spiritual growth teams to do all the amazing ministry work here at First Lutheran Church. The business section will work together with the resource teams. Each of the resource teams is also highlighted with a color to show how they all work together to support the business needs of the church. In the future, First Lutheran Church is looking to have a director of business oversee this section of our organizational chart. You will also see First Lutheran Childcare is designated its own color, as all these resource teams would provide support to our wonderful childcare center. Thank you for listening and learning more about the amazing teams and exciting structure for First Lutheran Church. All teams have openings, and if you are interested in learning more about any of the ministry or resource teams, or any of the action teams within those groups, please contact one of the facilitators. We know there are many talents within our wonderful congregation, and we would love to hear from you. Thank you to Shelley McNitt and all of the facilitators for your work in getting First Lutheran Church set up for success to perform God's work.